so brittle.
The roof is just horrible looking.
There's orange peel on parts of this car. I mean, for crying out loud. The interior is lifting on the inside right there.
How much?
How pleasant to see you again.
Where in the cosmos am I?
You are in another universe.
Behold, a 1997 Mercedes-Benz W210 chassis diesel. What the hell am I doing with this car? This is actually going to be the next Drift Benz. I know, completely weird. I didn't expect to end up owning one of these, but bear with me. I think this will make more sense later. So here's the deal. The other car was fancy, but it had a low ceiling as far as drifting went because of things like angle and car being entirely too nice to drift. And I was always afraid of hurting it, and I didn't end up drifting it all that hard. And I just didn't have the heart to vandalize that interior to put in the cage and all sorts of things. And getting more angle out of that suspension was also not really something that could happen. But with this car, I think I can ruin it heavily without feeling particularly bad about it. And so that's kind of the point, is to have a crappier car and do crappier drifter things with it and not worry about it too much. So here's the deal. It's a diesel. It's a 97 diesel, and all of you in California know that that is the last year of smog exemption, and that is not a coincidence. This car is not going to remain a diesel. I looked into the front suspension. It is way more normal than what my previous one had. This one actually should allow for angle modification. There is a check engine light. I haven't bothered to see what that's all about, but the engine itself is really clean and doesn't even leak oil. What's up with that? A cold engine startup, because I'm gonna end up trying to sell this engine and I want to have video proof of this car running. I'm gonna turn off blower fan. I don't know if you can see that. There's no way you can see that. Can you see? 236,000 miles. Well then, there you go. You can tell the engine's cold. The temperature gauge is all the way at the bottom right. Once that goes off, you're clear to start the car. Just like that, running. Super stable idle, does just fine. Everything is wonderful and drives around. And I've actually been using this car as a daily for the past couple of months, but I'll show you around the block just to make sure you know what you're getting. It goes, it does everything it's supposed to. Yeah, it's actually been super sweet saving all that money on gas. I have been getting a combined 30 miles to the gallon, and I must say I am loving it. I'm not loving the fact that it's a naturally aspirated diesel and it makes 134 horsepower, which is nothing for a car that weighs 3,500 pounds. But man, not having to pay a lot for gas is wonderful. All right, so here's the deal. This car is a total turd. Things like this fall out. The speaker grill plastic is so brittle. It is as brittle as a waffle would be. It takes no effort to just remove pieces of this. I could do this all day. This car is really quite beat up. These switches hardly work. One of these doesn't work. Somebody 3D printed a insert to cover up a broken button. It's all cracking. The dash is cracking right here. I mean, everything. Everything is broken or breaking or is thinking about breaking really, really soon. The seat controls still work over here. The electric steering wheel adjuster still works. That mirror is going to need to be replaced. Things like this are going to need to be ripped out. And oh man, look at this. What the hell? Did you see that? Look at this. It's like, I think paper cardboard that Amazon uses to ship boxes is more durable than the current state of this plastic. It's just completely dried out. There's no moisture left in it, no tensile strength at all. It just falls immediately apart. But that is what I wanted. I wanted something that I could just hack up, cut up, and not feel bad and not end up upsetting any Mercedes purists or anything like that. This is just a car. Consider this car a rescue. This car was going to die a sad life, going slow, to and from work, which is exactly how this car was being used. But instead, this car is going to end up doing remarkable things. Man, that chime is loud. All right. Look at that. It's just gross. Somebody tried to repaint the car and they did not do a good job. There's overspray on the windows, in the rearview mirror. It is quite beat up. Somebody glued that sign back on. Cracks in the bumper. It's quite destroyed. There's orange peel on parts of this car. I mean, for crying out loud. The interior is lifting on the inside right there.
The roof is just horrible looking. I don't know if you can tell, but it's not good.
Look at this. It is gross. However, as gross as this car is on the outside, the engine is actually in a really good shape, and this surprised me. 236,000 miles, and it all looks like this. That's really something else. It has a new alternator. It's definitely gotten resealed under the valve cover. The diesel injection pump has been rebuilt. It's really in a great shape, and it shows because I'm getting really good gas efficiency, and you don't get fuel mileage from motors that run really poorly. That's coming out. That's getting sold. So is the transmission. This whole front end is getting taken apart. Suspension is going to receive work. Interior is going to receive work. Every part of this car basically will end up getting touched. As for next steps, I'm taking a little vacation in Germany. I'm coming back and I'm beginning work on this car. $950 for this car that I could drive home and needed no immediate attention to use around town. And that came with an almost full tank of diesel. And this head unit actually has Bluetooth functionality, and so I'm going to be keeping this head unit in the name of saving money. So that is another $50 or $70. So look at this gross wheel gap. They use infrared sensors on the doors and on the trunk instead of a radio frequency signal, so it needs a direct line of sight to open and close the car with the fob. The car's been backed into things. These dents. Already pre-dented and excited to be drifted. Just overspray on the Mercedes emblem, overspray everywhere. This is gross.